Hello and welcome to Power Up with Power Coach Alishia. I'm Power Coach Alishia, your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, and educational life coaching, transformational speaking, and soul healing with a twist of tough mama bear, no fluff, no hand holding, no bullshit love. I specialize in helping you get out of your own way, put yourself first without feeling guilty, and finding yourself again. Now, while I'm waiting for Facebook to notify everyone that I'm live and get everything posted in all the different areas that I'm streaming to right now, I do want to say, if you are watching this live, make sure you click the link and allow StreamYard to see your comments. That way, I can see all your comments in one place. You only have to do this once on one of my lives, and then it will do it from then on. I also want to talk about the link that I have in the description of this live and the different places that it's linking to. So the very first link is to a free breakthrough session call with me. So you can click that, set up your own breakthrough session. And during this session, we just get clear on what's holding you back. We talk about your next steps and what might be best from you, where you got stuck, when you got stuck, all that good stuff. It is a free call with me. And we do talk about towards the end of the session, if we're a good fit, working with me. If we're not a good fit, I just give you some next steps and let you know that, maybe right now isn't time for coaching, or I think you're doing great, so just do these things. So it's just a call to help you get some baseline to what it is that you can do for yourself, and you get some great insight as well on taking those next steps to get out of your way and find yourself again. The next link in the description is for the Soulfire Podcast. There are 3 episodes up right now. This Thursday at 9 a.m. Episode 4 will drop, and every Thursday at 9 a.m. So if you have not gone to soulfirepodcast.com, make sure that you do that. Make sure that you subscribe and rate and review and comment, whatever, wherever you're listening to it, because that is what tells that podcasting server software app that my podcast is worth listening to. So make sure that you do that. Now, my podcast is on Apple Podcasts. It is showing up, but for some reason the episodes aren't playing. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. Maybe they'll play for you. But right now you can find the podcast like everywhere. iHeartRadio, Pandora, no, not Pandora yet. Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, literally everywhere. So make sure that you are subscribing and listening to that. The next link is for my free life coaching community that is called Power Up Your Life. And in this community, I do daily posts. We have daily conversations to help you power up your life to reclaim, renew, rekindle, rebalance, rebuild, and recharge you. So it's just really all about helping you find yourself again. The next link is to get on the waiting list for my Get Your Shift Together workshop. The next one is coming up in October, but just get on that list so that when I open it back up, you get that email to sign up. This is a workshop that you never want to miss. It doesn't matter if you've been to it never or you've been to it 10 times. You should show up to this workshop every single time I run it, because you're a different version of yourself each time that I do this workshop, and I'm a different version of myself. And so you're just getting the pure badassery that your soul needs. And then the very last link is for all my soul healing products. So if you want to shop soulhealingzone.com, that is where all my products are: angel cards, crystals, clothing, books, candles, bath and body items. And I just got a shit ton of new stuff in and still adding more stuff. So that is the bottom link there. So in the description of this video, wherever you are watching it, there is one link, and it links you to my link tree to all of those things so that you can get to it in one place. This stops Facebook from making my post a sale post and then screwing everything up for me. So welcome to today's episode of Power with Power Coach Alishia. And, there's a few things that I want to talk about, but it leads to one main thing. I had something else I wanted to talk about, but I didn't even make a note of what my friend had said. And it was really good. It was going to be a great freaking topic. And now I don't remember what the hell it was. Maybe it'll come back. But I'm going to use timely information for what I want to talk about right now, but it's like that for everything. So I want to make this clear that it's not just for right now, what I'm about to say. It's in all the decisions that you make, where you're going, not going, how you're getting there, whatever. It's in all of it. So I want to say hi to Rhonda. Hi, girl. How are you? Make sure that you click the link that is in the, oh, it's not there. Great. So I'll have to look at comments later. I'll go back and respond to comments later. I promise you that. I don't think it goes everywhere so that I can see comments. So my friend sends me a text yesterday and she's talking about just being so stressed out about getting the vaccination. Now, I do want you to know that this Power Up with Power Coach Alishia is not about getting the vaccination or not getting the vaccination. So I want to just say that right off the bat, but it is very relevant to what I'm about to talk about. Okay. So she is very stressed out about her job making the vaccine mandatory. Her household is no vaccination. So they're definitely against it. It's not something that is something they want to do, not something that they want to put in their body, right? So then there's the ... And then, so that makes her very stressed out and struggling with whether or not she wants to keep her job. But the problem with that is she's the breadwinner. So she says, how do I even consider leaving this place if I'm the one that makes all the money, right? And so I think this is a great topic for today because it doesn't have to be the vaccination that's causing this conversation, right? In your household, in your life, and what you're going through. There could be a lot of different things that is causing this thought process and this conversation of whether or not you are going to stay at this job and what decision that you want to make that is the best for you and your family. The challenge, though, with these decisions, whether it's vaccination or something else, is that there's always a lot of pressure from the outside in on what decision to make. And that's what I really want to talk about today is the pressures, hi, Amy, the external, hi, Cindy, pressures that other people put on you to fill in the blank, right? What they think you should do, even though you're your own person. So the first thing that I want to mention is something that I don't know where the hell we talked about it. Oh, I think I'm pretty positive that we talked about it in my Soul Circle session, and it's fast decisions. It should not take long for you to decide what it is that's best for you. The confusion comes from what other people around you are saying you should and should not do. That is what's causing you the stress. That's what's causing you the overwhelm. That's what's making you feel like you are struggling with the decision. Now, your decision's already been made, but it's everything else around that decision that you made that is making you second guess yourself. That's what I'm attempting to say here while I open up 17 windows so I can see if there's comments coming through. I really don't like missing your guys' comments live. It drives me crazy. It's so important to me. Okay, so there's only comments on my personal profile. That makes me feel better. I only have to hang out in one place. All right. So what do you do when there's a big decision that you need to make and you know in your gut what it is for you, but there's external circumstances and pressure that's causing you to second guess those decisions? Well, unfortunately, you have to kind of go old school. And in this instance, I highly recommend this. You probably have never heard me talk about this before, but that's because it's not something that I recommend on the regular. And that's making a pros and cons list. If you're being faced with the decision that you know what you want to do, but you feel like based on, let's say, the fact that you're a breadwinner or the fact that you are, if you're not pro, what are you? I guess you're against, but I don't think it's like pro and against. It's pro and something else. I can't think. But let's say you're against whatever it is, and you're having that internal battle or that battle with other people, your family, whatever, your job, then it's good to go to a pros and cons list because then you can kind of see it on paper. Again, I believe that you already know the answer. First and foremost, go with your gut, and your gut will tell you right off the bat, like, you're not going to be able to make it financially if you quit. So there's that. Okay. So that's one decision. That doesn't mean you have to stay where you're at though, right? Where you're working in this example, it could be that you are going to go to a different job where you make as much or more and still be the breadwinner, but you still wouldn't have to make that decision of something that you're really against, right? You could still get away with that for now, right? So there is that option. And so it's not to say that when you come to the conclusion that, well, I'm the breadwinner and I need the money, that you have to be doing what it is you're currently doing to make the money. That's the next decision. Okay, now that I know that I'm going to have to work, the next question is, am I staying here? Is this the job that I'm going to stay in? Can you guys hear me okay? I didn't even check to see if my audio is good. I probably should have. Okay, cool. So that's the next question. But always, always, always starting with your gut and then leading from there. So if your gut says, well, you got to have a job. Okay, that doesn't mean you're staying. That's the next part of it. Hi, Kathy. And then, okay, well, do I need to have a job here? Or am I good with looking at other places? If you're not good with looking in other places, then you have to go back to that thing you're against. Okay, well, I'm against this. Now you got to weigh the pros and cons on that. And really and truly, in this situation with this friend, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I used this as an example then, Rhonda. With this situation with this friend, if she was literally now got to this point in the conversation with herself on pros and cons of whether she should stay there at this specific job or to go somewhere else, I know for sure that her cons of staying outweigh her pros of staying. So therefore, there's her answer. It's not to say she's not going to ever work anywhere. It's to say that she's not going to work here. Okay, so now she needs to go on a mission, take action, and finding a job where she's making the same or more than what she makes right now at a job where she is not ever going to be required to vaccinate. Now, somebody might be thinking, does that job even exist? Well, back when my direct sales coaching company was in its prime, it would exist with me. I would have never made him vaccinate. My brick and mortar store. Hi, Angie. I would never make them vaccinate. Oh, I love your picture that you changed. You look all bright and happy. I love it. Even the people who come and work for me at my store. Yeah, I mean, this friend couldn't come work for me at my store because the money wouldn't make it, right? But I'm just saying, like, my vice president who worked for me for 5-6 years, she wouldn't have had to do that. And she made $60,000 a year. So there is opportunities. It may not be in the exact same field that she's in or you're in right now, or maybe it is, right? If you're in the medical field, I don't see any way around it. I'm just going to put that out there. But pretty much any other field, you're going to be okay, right? Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. It was the perfect time to change your photo. What is it called? An aid industry, like medical, firefighter, police officer. That, I mean, I don't think that any of those people are going to really have a choice. It just is what it is. The one challenge in this situation, in this example, is that this friend loves her field. And it is quote unquote medical. So it may look different for her, but different isn't always bad, right? Hi, Tessa. And so that's the other thing. Why am I sharing this with you? Because in this exact example, it's just real life right now. You know, to vaccinate, to not vaccinate. And if you choose not to vaccinate, how far does that line go? How long are you willing to fight for what you believe in, right? It's interesting because in this same breath, the people who are vaccinated, they don't have to really fight for that belief, right? They automatically believe in it. They're going to take that action. It doesn't look like, I'm not going to say that it isn't. I'm going to say it doesn't look like it's as strenuous and as hard for them to make that decision and move forward. Once that decision is made, they take that vaccination. Their life really doesn't change, so to speak, at this time, right? We don't know long-term effects, whatever. But the person who is against vaccination and isn't going to do it, this person is really faced with a lot of decisions. It's like, how dedicated, how true are you to how you feel about this? How far are you willing to go? Is it all the way to, not living in society and living off the grid? Like, that's the question. Because that may be how far it has to go for the unvaccinated people, is that they would have to live off the grid because they ain't going to have shit, and build their own colony where they work together with the other people who are not vaccinated and build their little world back up. That could be what it is. And so it's looking at that line as far as you're willing to take it. Now, again, in this example, in this Power Up with Power Coach Alishia, I'm using vaccination, non-vaccination as the example, but you can replace it with anything you want. Anything you want, you can replace it with. Maternity leave, not maternity leave. Raise, no raise. Stuck in a dead end job. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely, Tessa, share it. Not really going anywhere, or a job with opportunity. It doesn't matter. Just keep going. An asshole boss, a boss that's too nice and you have to pick up all the fucking slack, or it doesn't matter. Just, you can insert anything you want right there. But this topic is so timely because so many people are facing this, right? And they're facing that decision of how far they're willing to go before they give in, or that they've already made the decision. And so they're just moving forward, doing what they're doing. But I would say at least 50% of those people who've made the decision and are moving forward and have been vaccinated, a lot of them are in a lot of fear of what could happen in the next 3 to 5 years to themselves, right? Or they see other people, like loved ones, who are really struggling since they were vaccinated and thinking, oh my God, I hope that nothing like that happens to me. And so you have 50% of those people struggling with the decision that they did make because they felt like they had to, and they don't even know what's going to happen to them. And the other 50% are confident and believe in it and moving that way. And then you have all these people over here, which I don't know what percentage of it is, but you have all these people over here that are like, fuck no, I'm not doing this, but they don't really even know their thresholds. And you're not knowing their thresholds until the moment presents itself. So if there's anything that I can really give you in this very moment, it's when you are firm on a decision that you're making, like let's say it's to negate the decision. Like, I'm not willing to put any more time into this job because they have me doing 2 people's jobs and they're not paying me anymore. How far are you willing to go? Already know. Right? You should have already known that before you agreed to take on this job and whatever they're piling on your plate, right? You should know how far you're willing to go. It doesn't matter. Like I said, you can replace the topic of vaccination, no vaccination, and hard decisions that people are having to make. And it's bringing people to their knees, right? It's really causing a lot of internal battle and strife because of outside pressure to make this decision. And again, it's 50% of the people, I would say, that's already been vaccinated, and then everybody who hasn't been, right? That are in this instance. And I think knowing where your line is will make a big difference, because once you have a line and you know your line and you're clear on where you stand, then you can't ever be talked into, strong-armed, or convinced to make a decision that someone else thought you should make, period. No matter what the topic is, okay? When you have your line, then you can't be pushed past that line because you have your threshold. And it's quick. You can make those lines quick, and you should. And you've got to do it in different areas of your life all the time. What's your line? How far are you willing to go? What's the max? Okay, when you know that, like when you start a job, you should know, how far are you willing to go? If you can move up the ranks, great. But what are you willing to sacrifice? And what are you not willing to sacrifice to go to the next level and the next level, the next level? Where's your threshold, right? If you're in a dead end job and there is no really way to go higher, what's your threshold? Are you still willing to put in hours at home and after hours and constantly working overtime and killing yourself and burning the candle at both ends for a salary job or for this job because this person quit or they had to let that person go and they just redistributed the work, but they didn't pay anybody anymore? Where's your threshold? See, that's another example of someone feeling pressured to do something that they don't want to do, but they feel like if they don't do it, they'll lose their job. See what I mean? It doesn't have to just be a vaccination topic. It could literally be everything else, because in this world we live in right now, that example that I just gave is happening like crazy. The companies are laying off, but they're just redistributing the work to the people that are staying and then not paying those people anymore. Well, that's crazy, because the person who's working extra and, dividing it out, or not dividing out, working extra and doing 2 people's job at one time is never going to say anything because they're too terrified of losing their job. But we are in an amazing job market. So it's like this weird lack mentality thing going on. Like, I'm just going to do everybody's job because I don't want to lose my job. I have bills to pay and da. But the job market is wonderful right now. This is the perfect time to move to a place that is a better fit because there's so many open jobs. Excuse me. It's just that shift in mentality of, okay, where do I really want to go? And how am I getting there? What does it look like? And starting to take that action. If this has resonated with you, just drop a heart in the comments. I just want to see if you're connecting to the really heart of the topic. I sometimes struggle when I use examples like sometimes it's racism, right? Or it's vaccinations, or it's political, or whatever it is. I struggle with using those examples because I don't want you to get stuck on my example. I want you to hear how that example, when you just pull back and you're not so close to it, applies to so many different areas of your life. Awesome, awesome. So we have got to celebrate that Tessa, you got to send me pictures, has bought a house. And this is so amazing because Tessa's had a hard run, you guys. And I'm not saying that you haven't had hard runs and, life hasn't been hard for you. But this woman has just been dealt shitty hand after shitty hand after shitty hand. And let me finish what I'm about to say, Tessa, because it's going to come out like wrong, right? But just let me say what I got to say. Tessa's the person that you would expect to give up on life. And not her, but her situations around her, and just constantly being punched in the gut. She's the person that you would expect that would take her own life and not be here anymore because it's too much to handle. But this woman has fought tooth and fucking nail for her life, for her kids, lived in a very small, 2-3 bedroom apartment. I think she has 3 children and her boyfriend. Like, it's too small. And then, a hyperactive child, and I think an autistic child, ADD, ADHD, and then an asshole child, which we all have one of those, I'm sure. All of this, and just, it's been a rough ride. Then she got approved for a house, and she's been putting in offers, and she lost house after house. Every house she lost, she sent me a message like, it's okay, the right one's on its way. And she bought a house. So yay for Tessa. Way to not give up. Like, you are the epitome of fighting for yourself. Your fight has not always been consistent and, powerful, and what I would have loved to see you do. But in the same breath, I'm so proud of you for never giving up and fighting so hard for yourself in this journey. So I just can't say enough how you're literally the example of, even when the path doesn't look pretty, you still woke up and still moved forward and moved forward and moved forward. And I'm just so proud of you for that. So I'm glad that you shared that live so we could all celebrate with you. Where's your line? Where's your threshold? I have thresholds everywhere. Everywhere. So we've kind of talked about this in a different perspective, but I'm not really doing as much marketing for the cafe now. My contract has actually ended, but she's my friend, so I help her out, whenever she needs help. So I'm not doing as much there. Oh, I am so excited, dude. It makes me so happy for you. But I still have my brick and mortar store. I still have my online store. I'm doing all my kids' marketing. We're branching out into Christmas lights. So I'm working on studying up on that so that I know enough to help them and educate them when they go through the training themselves. Plus, I'm doing all of my life coaching stuff, which this is part of that, right? So I have all of that. I'm the assistant team mom for my youngest football team. And then Ronan just got his permit. So now he's like wanting to drive everywhere all the time. Do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? So that's a little annoying, but it's also exciting at the same time because, he just wants to get out there and drive. So there's a lot going on, right? But I have thresholds everywhere. I'm not afraid to say no. No, I don't want to come over. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't feel like that right now. So this weekend has been very busy. On Saturday, we had an event for the store. So we went and did a vendor event. Plus, my store was open. So I had to go set up for the event and then get my girl who works for me there so she could run the event, make sure my girl could get into the store where the store is. Plus, Stratton had a football game, but it was clusterfuckery getting the girl to the event. So I was running late and behind and And then it was like right after the football game was the football party. So I had enough time to come home, change my clothes because I was all sweaty from the day. And then I went to the football party and then we were there until 10 p.m., 11 p.m., right? It was great. We had a blast. Like I loved every minute of it. Come Sunday though, my kids have now had no downtime to like play video games and decompress from their week because it rained like crazy all week long that they had to slam all of their jobs into Friday and just a couple into Saturday morning. So they worked a 10-hour shift on Friday, weeding and mowing lawns, and it was crazy. And then did a couple hours on Saturday. So by the time we got to Sunday, I didn't want to hang out. I didn't want to do a movie as a family. And somebody might be like, well, you got to have quality time. I didn't want it. I just didn't feel like sitting out in the living room, watching a movie. I just wanted to lay in my bed and do nothing. So instead of being convinced to move to the living room, to watch a movie, anything like that, I just said no. I said, I don't feel like it. Everybody can do whatever they want to do, but I don't want to watch a movie this week. I just want to chill. And I stuck to that. Well, Stratton didn't really like that, my youngest. So he brought his TV and his PlayStation into my room and we played some Apex for a little while. And then he went and ate and then he came back and played Rocket League for a little while. He just wanted to be near us. And so it worked out because we played some video games together, but we were in the same room. And so it helped him get his fill of being connected without me feeling like I was forcing myself to do something I didn't feel like doing. So I know when I hit my threshold and I don't feel like doing anything anymore. Oh my gosh. This warmer's scent is so strong. Hold on. I did all fall scents and all my warmers. I've been burning fall candles. My house smells like a fall village. Just, I don't know, blew up everywhere. It doesn't look like that, but it smells like that. So thresholds. There's an example of one threshold. My store should probably be open an extra 2 hours every single day just for people to get off work and be able to come in and shop. But I have a couple of thresholds. One, I have a financial threshold with the girls that I pay to work for me. And the other threshold I have is my ability to how many hours I can give to this store. Well, it seems crazy, but 11 to 5 is about all I can handle. Any hours over that, I would have to have somebody come in from like 5 to 7 to work those couple extra hours. And so therefore, I just close at 5. That's a threshold. I'm not willing to work till 7, but right now in the season, the finances and people shopping and whatever doesn't compensate for me having people there until 7. I'm going to edit that. I am working on that, but for right now, it doesn't work. This last week, I think it was maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just was too slammed and too much going on and to do posts for online sales. Yeah, I do need to post online because they help compensate for the in-store. I get all of that. Threshold. Had nothing else to give. So I said, fuck it, something has to give. And that did. If you remember me talking about this a few weeks ago, I was talking about the podcast, right? And I was listing out everything I had on my plate. And that Power with Power Coach Alishia was about how to not feel overwhelmed and how you have your non-negotiables. You have the non-negotiables just in your life in general. You have the things that can be moved on till later. And then the things that you're going to get done, like in the middle of that. They're going to get done. Well, the podcast was the thing that I said, oh, I could just move that out to the end of the month. Remember, I have it set to where it can go all the way to the end of the month and I can launch it then. And I'm not going to be upset with myself. Well, I originally wanted to launch the podcast the first week of August. Then I moved it to the second week of August and it launched on August 16th. And I am good with it. I'm not upset at myself or frustrated or irritated. And it's fucking fire. Like I love my podcast. The content that I've put out on it is just amazing. And I've heard from some of you that you guys love it. If you've listened to the podcast, definitely shout it out in the comments. I'd love to hear your review on it. If you haven't listened to it, there's a link in the description of this video, and it's linking you on over to all the different things that I've got going on. So your first link is for a free breakthrough session call. If you just feel stuck and you want some help getting unstuck, creating a plan, getting some clarity, you want to click there and book a free breakthrough call with me. The second link is to the podcast, soulfirepodcast.com. There's 3 episodes up right now, and every Thursday at 9 a.m. a new episode is released, and that is 9 a.m. Eastern. The next link is to my free life coaching community. There's always some good conversations going on in there, just helping you think a little bit broader. Also, the daily questions that I post are great for journal prompts. I like to post some quotes and give you some food for thought as well. There's not a lot of selling that goes on in there, but there is some. And then the next link is for my Get Your Shift Together workshop. Just get on that waiting list. It is absolutely free, but it doesn't open again until October. And then the very last link is to shop all my soul healing products at soulhealingzone.com for crystals and angel cards and sage and clothing and bath and body products, all that good stuff. So that is what you get by going to the link in the description. So definitely click that link and make sure you're not missing out on anything. Everything that I just shared with you on that link is free, except for the soulhealingzone.com. That's where all the products are that go along with helping you heal your soul. So if you're really serious about helping yourself and taking your life to the next level, go there and check out those different things. After this Power Up with Power Coach Alishia, I want you to go and think about, not really think about, but let me rephrase. I do want you to think about it, but I don't want you to overanalyze or analyze. So think about something in your life that needs a threshold or needs your line, right? This is the line we don't pass, and put it in place for yourself. There should be multiple places in your life where you need to put your threshold. And that's just because you're more than likely the type of person that takes on and takes on and takes on, says yes to everyone, gets overwhelmed. You know, you're not really taking care of yourself. You don't really fit anywhere. So there's probably a good chunk of places where you need to put your threshold in. You're like, well, how do I know what my threshold is? Where is it that you won't go past? How far are you willing to go? At what point is enough for you? And you should know that before you get to that point, because when you get to that point, it's called a breaking point. Okay. Yay! Hired a housekeeper and movers to move your shit. That is amazing. Yeah. So this is a great example of limits, right? A housekeeper to clean the house, movers to move my shit, because I'm not killing myself to move. I know my limits, right? A lot of people don't want to spend that money. Oh, I don't have that money. So they push themselves. I got to do it all myself. And then this whole beautiful thing becomes a complete shit show, and it's more frustrating and irritating and stressful than it is beautiful and amazing. So that's so wonderful, Tessa, and such a good change for you, right? Because you've always been that person to push yourself past those limits, and then you come to me broken down, right? It's beautiful to see that you're growing every day, every week, every month into a stronger person for yourself, where you can say, you know what? No, I'm going to find the money. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do what I got to do. And this is where my limits are. So this is where I need help. Yay, Danielle. Thank you guys so much for being here. Remember, Power Up with Power Coach Alishia is every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, unless it's a holiday or I am in the middle of a workshop or a series or a challenge. The best way to know when I'm going to go live is to make sure you join my Power Up Your Life community. So when you go to this link, it is the third one down. Join that group, and pinned to the top is my schedule for August and September for Power Up with Power Coach Alishia, where you can join me live for some random topic that is on my mind, and we can chat about it. So click this link. So you go to the link that's in the description of this video, you click the third one down, free life coaching community, and pinned to the top of that group is my entire schedule, so that you will have that and you never have to wonder when I'm going to be live. And it's set up for August and September. And then about mid-September, I will change it and add October, November. and December to that live schedule. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me. And as I always say, remember to give yourself some grace. Say yes to yourself more than you say yes to other people. And always, it's about progress, not perfection. I'll see you next time.